on News Hour tonight. Nigerians on edge over planned American military intervention over alleged genocide. 11 billion naira found in detained colonel's bank account. Warri Itakpe train derails 4 days after resumption. NRC suspends service. And on the foreign scene, Kenya landslide death toll rises to 26. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I am Mariam Idris. Now, reactions are pouring in from across northern Nigeria following U.S. President Donald Trump's remark on possible U.S. military action in Nigeria. While some see it as interference, others think Washington's involvement could help tackle insecurity. The report.
Trump's warning of a possible United States military invasion has sharply divided Nigerians, both online and offline. Retired ECOWAS diplomat Ambassador Haruna Warkani says dialogue, not confrontation, should guide Nigeria's response.
Nigeria has finally been characterized as a country of particular interest for American government, and those characterizations are usually not too good for a nation. So Nigeria, therefore, now has to do something very, very urgent, and that something means the Ministry of Foreign Affairs needs to be activated properly and extraordinarily, actually, to counter this.
In Kaduna, reactions were shaped by religious and political sentiments. Islamic cleric Sheikh Ahmed Gumi urged the government to resist what he called America's high-handed approach.
They have a plan which they have already, but now they want to execute it because I think that is just the right time to do it. Otherwise, what is happening in Nigeria, nobody denies there's a lot of bloodshed, but it has no any religious or ethnic coloration. It's just a question of land and survival. So we as a nation, we have to come together and see that this negative narration does not have ground.
The first error we made was to even say, no, there's no killing. I think that's really hot. That's really unfair. Every sensible and true Nigeria who will look at Reverend Hayab on the face and say there's not been killing of Christian, that day I will know that he's not honest. Has there been a shift? That's a different conversation. But to say there is not, haba. Because for deliberate reasons, some people twisted this whole killing thing into farmers-herders conflict.
What I'm concerned is about life and property. And for me, any government that cannot take care or oversee its citizen, I don't think is a better government. You understand? Because every government is supposed to be concerned about its citizen well-being.
In Plateau State, where insecurity has lingered for years, Trump's remarks triggered mixed emotions among residents, many questioning United States motives.
To me, it is a very much welcome idea. Lives are being wasted, properties destroyed, people becoming refugees in their land, and people are becoming so apprehensive and restless. And this is a war that has been on for more than 20 years. And if Trump's intervention will bring an end, fine.
We see it as a political witch hunt. I am not an APC member. I'm not in support of the government policy because what we are expecting or what we expected from the government is totally out of the box. But concerning the Christian genocide in Nigeria, it is something we debunk in totality. I disagree with that statement because if you look at what is happening today in our country, is an interest, is an international interest. You cannot go outside the box of your colonial masters when you know they have a tick in the affairs of your country and said you will have no business with them henceforth.
If Trump is to send his own army to come and settle this matter of killing of Christian or Muslim or thereabouts, I think is the right thing, but it depends on how they do it. Because if they should come and start, let's say they start killing people anyhow, maybe if they find you guilty, they will just kill you, it will increase the problem. So my own point of view is that he should send his own people, they should come and settle the case in a peaceful way.
In Katsina, Residents described Trump's position as undue interference in Nigeria's internal affairs. They argued that the United States, often seen as a model democracy, should be better informed before making such sweeping claims.
The reality on ground is that both more Muslims are killed. If you could remember, not long ago, the 52 people were killed in Malumbashi local government. There are so many instances of large communities being displaced, being killed, mostly Muslims.
We welcome the assistance if there is anything they can do, but not coming up with I will put it like a threat to Nigeria. Nigeria is a sovereign nation.
Only people of one faith are being killed in Nigeria. This is a one-sided narrative, and I urge Nigerian leaders to take this issue very seriously.
In Maiduguri, residents urged the Nigerian government to take charge of the fight against terrorism rather than depend on foreign threats or promises.
The Nigerian government should take decisive action against Boko Haram, banditry and kidnapping, and bring to justice those sponsoring them. The security situation affects both Christians and Muslims. We are all one. The US government should guide us on how to resolve this crisis. The suffering and hardship we face are results of insecurity. If people could access their farmlands without fear, we wouldn't be experiencing this situation.
The problem now is that, you see, somebody like Sheikh Jafar, you see, they killed this man in the mosque, in the morning prayer. He is a Muslim. He's an Islamic scholar. So the only thing is, let's come together, please. Let's forget about a Muslim or a Christian, because they bomb church, they bomb mosque.
In Kano, residents told Trust TV News that any form of American military intervention would be extreme, even if the intention is to help Nigeria overcome insecurity.
I think it's an extreme position, which from every indication does not tally with our sovereignty. We're a sovereign nation. There's other way American will have intervened. And one of the way I think they can intervene is ensuring that you help our government to strengthen the capacity of our armed forces to actually confront these guys.
To me, I don't think it's going to happen. It's a way of blackmailing Nigeria into actually granting so many things to the United States. If you remember what Donald Trump did to Zelensky sometime early this year, when he wanted to actually send American companies to start exploiting minerals in Ukraine, the man resisted.
As debate intensifies, Nigerians remain anxious about what the standoff means for Africa's most populous democracy still battling deep insecurity that has cost thousands of lives.
The International Religious Freedom Act, or IRFA, was passed by the U.S. Congress in 1998 to protect and promote religious freedom around the world. It gives the U.S. government a framework to identify and act against countries that suppress or persecute people based on faith. Every year, the U.S. State Department, guided by the Commission on International Religious Freedom, reviews global records and names countries of particular concern, those guilty of serious or consistent violations. The label can lead to sanctions, suspension of aid, or diplomatic pressure. A secondary special watch list covers countries with emerging or less severe violations. In Africa, countries like Nigeria, Eritrea, Sudan, and the Central African Republic have all come under IRFA scrutiny. Eritrea has remained on the list for jailing people over their beliefs, while Nigeria has been flagged for religious violence, discrimination, and blasphemy laws. Across Asia, IRFA has been applied to China, Pakistan, Iran, and Myanmar, all facing accusations of state-backed persecutions of minorities. India has been repeatedly recommended but never officially listed, showing how politics often shapes how the law is used. Overall, F8 serves as Washington's main tool for naming and shaming countries that fail to protect religious freedom, though in practice, its impact often depends on America's strategic interests rather than moral consistency. Now, the backlash on social media continues over U.S. President Donald Trump's threat of military action in Nigeria following his designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern. Human rights activist and former presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore has warned Nigerians not to support Trump's comments, calling them dangerous and misleading. In a post on X, Sowore said U.S. military interventions in Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan and Syria only brought instability and suffering. He said Nigeria's progress depends on internal reforms, accountability and a strong stand against corruption, not foreign interference. Aisha Yesufu also criticized Nigerians who see Trump as a savior, saying the country must learn to hold its leaders accountable. She noted that other countries like Saudi Arabia and China are also on the U.S. list of countries of particular concern. Senator Shehu Hussaini described the designation as false and divisive, arguing that terrorists in Nigeria kill and kidnap victims regardless of religion. He said Trump was misinformed by anarchists and lackey of neo-colonialism, insisting Nigeria's problem is not between Muslims and Christians, but between citizens and violent groups. Now, former Kano State Governor Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso said while insecurity remains a major concern, the U.S. should support Nigeria with advanced technology and intelligence, not threats. He urged the Nigerian government to engage Washington through diplomacy and appoint ambassadors to defend the country's interests abroad. Former presidential aide Bashir Ahmad said the U.S. designation may end up hurting ordinary Nigerians instead of targeting terrorists and their sponsors. Meanwhile, Binance executive Tigran Gambarian took a swipe at Nigeria's leadership, accusing it of corruption and lawlessness, saying the country is run by criminals and thugs, more interested in enriching themselves than helping citizens. Reactions continue to trail Trump's statement, which has stirred tensions across political and religious lines. Now, military intelligence has reportedly traced about 11 billion naira to the bank account of a detained army colonel linked to the alleged coup plot involving senior military officers. Top security sources told Sunday Punch that the discovery further connects the officer who once served in the Niger Delta region to ongoing investigation. The Defense Intelligence Agency is said to have been tracking communications, financial transactions and foreign contacts of the suspect since August 2024, following intelligence reports of a planned government overthrow. Sources also reveal that President Bola Tinubu's frequent stays in Lagos and limited presence in Abuja were partly due to heightened security concerns during the probe. Last Friday, the president dismissed all service chiefs and announced new appointments, a move believed to have been influenced by the ongoing investigation. Now, reports indicate that the removal of former Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, was linked to a public statement confirming the arrest of 16 officers, which security officials say should not have been disclosed. Now, ahead of his formal reception into All Progressive Congress APC on Monday, November 3rd, Bayelsa State Governor Senator Duediri has said his decision to leave the People's Democratic Party PDP was in the best interest of the state. Speaking on Sunday at 14th Bayelsa Thanksgiving Day held at the Ecumenical Center in Ibo, Gene, Yenagua, Diri said someone had to take this step, and he did so on behalf of the people. It was his first public comment since resignation from the PDP on October 15, 2025. The governor explained that although some might not understand his move to the ruling party, time would prove his intentions were selfless. Diri expressed satisfaction with the presence of political leaders across party lines at the event, emphasizing that Bayelsa's unity was vital for its progress. He noted that politics should promote development rather than division and pledged to sustain peace, security and growth in the state. The governor also urged Bayelsans to cultivate a spirit of gratitude, saying the prevailing peace and ongoing development were reason to thank God. Now, the Northern Nigeria's Youth Leader Forum has rejected calls for the resignation of the All Progressive Congress National Chairman Nentawe Yilwada at a news conference in Abuja. The forum's national president Murtala Gamji said those demanding Yilwada's resignation do not represent the genuine interest of APC members. This follows an ultimatum by another group, the APC Youth Solidarity Network, which accused the party chairman of poor leadership and gave him 2 weeks to step down. But Gamji dismissed the group as a gathering of PDP loyalists, saying Yilwada has only recently assumed office and has already attracted high-profile politicians to the APC. He warned that any attempt to destabilize the party's leadership will not be tolerated. The forum also dismissed calls for President Bola Tinubu to prop National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, describing such demands as politically motivated. Now, amid the escalating crisis in the People's Democratic Party (PDP), following the suspension and counter-suspension of key members of its National Working Committee (NWC), the Osun State chapter of the PDP and All Progressive Congress (APC) have clashed over the possible impact on the August 8, 2026 governorship election. The Osun PDP, through its Director of Media and Publicity, Hezekiah Oladele Bamiji, maintained that the party remains united despite challenges facing its national leadership. However, the APC, in a statement by its Director of Media and Information, Kola Olabisi, claimed the crisis was proof that the PDP had collapsed both nationally and in Osun. During a recent meeting in Abuja, the PDP's NWC suspended several top officials, including National Secretary Senator Samuel Anyanwu, National Organizing Secretary Umar Baturi, and National Legal Advisor Kamaldeen Ajibade San. In retaliation, a faction loyal to the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, announced the suspension of acting National Chairman Umar Damagun and 5 others. The Osun PDP dismissed APC's claims that it had halted all meetings at state and local levels, describing them as baseless fabrications. But Olabisi insisted that the crisis vindicated the APC's earlier position that the ruling party in Osun is riddled with internal divisions and poor leadership. Now, the Nigerian Railway Corporation has suspended operations on the Warri-Itakpe route following a train derailment on Saturday night, just 4 days after services resumed on the corridor. In a statement released Sunday, the NRC's Managing Director, Kayode Opiefa, said the derailment occurred around 7:30 p.m. at kilometer 212 in Agbo, Delta State, involving 2 of the train's 7 coaches. Preliminary investigations suggest the incident may have been caused by suspected track vandalism. The Warri-Itakpe line, spanning over 300 kilometers, is Nigeria's longest modern rail service, alongside the Lagos, Ibadan, and Abuja-Kaduna routes. Rail services on the corridor had only resumed on October 29th after being suspended in August due to repeated technical breakdowns. According to National Bureau of Statistics, over 188 rail-related incidents have been recorded in Nigeria between 2020 and 2025, mainly linked to vandalism and criminal activities. The Taraba State government has confirmed an outbreak of avian influenza, also known as bird flu, in parts of Wukari local government area. Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, Professor Nicholas Namesan, announced the development at a press briefing in Jalingo on Saturday. He said the outbreak was detected after report of mass death of birds in the Jibu community, with laboratory tests confirming the virus on October 29th. Authorities have since activated rapid response teams and imposed a ban on the movement of birds and poultry products in and out of Jibu, Kakari and Yemini areas. Live birds markets in Urua, Bantaje and Yemini have also been temporarily shut down to prevent further spread. Residents have been advised to avoid consuming poultry products for now, as the virus poses a potential risk to humans. The government is urging poultry farmers to strengthen biosecurity and report any sudden bird death to the nearest veterinary clinic. This is the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Residents raise alarm over Oyo government's demolition plan, called for urgent federal action. More news when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Now let's take a recap of our major stories again. Nigeria is on edge over planned American military intervention over alleged genocide. 11 billion naira found in detained Cornell's bank accounts. Now moving on to more stories. Adamawa State University has hosted a combined convocation ceremony for its 15th, 16th and 17th graduating classes, celebrating the accomplishment of 8,871 undergraduates, among whom 42 achieved first-class honors. Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri, who is the visitor of the institution, attended the ceremony and reaffirmed his administration's dedication to enhancing educational opportunities in Adamawa State. The report.
The milestone event took place at the Abubakar Barde campus in Mobi, marking the 22nd anniversary of the institution's establishment. The ceremony was attended by the prominent figures, including the Governor of Borno, traditional and religious leaders, esteemed academics, and politicians. In his remarks, Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri commended the graduates and expressed his ongoing support for the university's development. He emphasized the government's commitment to projects such as the construction of internal roads and the establishment of new faculties of law, engineering, and medicine. The governor encouraged the university community to prioritize research that addresses pressing societal issues and foster innovations for the advancement of the nation.
While carrying out on these surgical reforms in education, the Adamawa State University is not left behind. Our government is poised to upscale infrastructure in the institution, having fully relocated to the Abubakar Barde campus. We will construct the internal roads. We will construct the library. The construction of the Faculty of Law, Engineering and Medicine will be carried out before the end of my term in office.
During his address, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Augustine Clement, announced the impressive graduation figures detailing the diverse academic achievements. 42 first class, 1,734 second class upper, 5,252 second class lower, 1,842 third class, and 1 pass degree.
Construction of a guest house with 19-room capacity, which was commissioned yesterday, to alleviate the problem of accommodation in the university and in our community. Award of contract for internet connectivity for both campuses, and purchase of befitting council bus and some official vehicles for smooth running of academic and administrative administration in the university.
As part of the convocation's festivity, the university honored 3 distinguished Nigerians with honorary doctorate degrees: Alhaji Muhammad Indimi, Alhaji Dr. Abdul Samad Rabiu, founder of Boa Group, and the Most Reverend Dr. Dami Mamza, Catholic Bishop of Yola Diocese. Additionally, the event included the official commissioning of a TET fund-funded project as part of the 2027 to 2020 March Annual Intervention Scheme. Gibson Soadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
Residents along the Circular Road corridor in Ibadan have appealed to key stakeholders, including the federal government, the National Assembly leadership, the Olubadan of Ibadan land, and prominent indigenes of Ibadan to intervene and stop the Oyo State government's planned demolition of properties along the project corridor. The report.
The Ibadan Circular Road project is a 110-kilometer road network designed to ease traffic congestion and provide an efficient bypass for commuters and freight movement around the ancient city. Named after the former governor of Oyo State and current Olubadan of Ibadan land, Oba Rashid Adewolu Ladoja. The project is expected to improve mobility, drive economic growth, and enhance infrastructure development across the metropolis. However, residents affected by the ongoing construction say the government's plan to demolish properties within the 500-meter setback zone is unfair and inhuman. They claim to have staged several protests without any concrete response from the authorities. In their latest move, the residents took their grievances to journalists at the council secretariat in Iyaganku, Ibadan, calling on Governor Seyi Makinde to honor his earlier directive suspending further demolitions. They also demanded a roundtable discussion involving representatives of the 6 local government areas traversed by the road.
The goalpost has been 75 meters right, 75 meters left. Now the government of the day, under Governor Seyi Makinde, saying that additional 425 meters right, 425 meters left, in which houses will be demolished. Land without compensation before acquiring the land will be acquired. It is never done. The governor declared in Oyo State that no building standing on the corridor on the circular road shall be demolished. And on that mandate declared that day, that is the mandate we stand upon today.
The residents further urged the state government to refrain from taking over vacant lands along the road perimeter, insisting that such action violates the Land Use Act. They also refuted claims that the compensation has been paid, describing such reports as misleading.
The insinuation from government quarters that our agitation is being sponsored by politicians is false, malicious, and far from the truth. Three, the recent proposal of additional demolition of buildings and properties by the Oyo State government is anti-human and inimical to the well-being of residents of the corridor. Hence, it is totally unacceptable. The 150-meter right of the way has been acquired for public uses. Is hereby plea for adequate compensation. Then, the judicial precedent on land cases of Nigeria. There are 5 principles as mentioned earlier. Only family have absolute ownership on land and the right of transfer vested on them by 1, traditional evidences, 2, document of title, 3, act of ownership, 4, act of long possession, and in case of dispute, the act of proof of adjacent land, that is, the person supposed to be the owner.
According to them, the proposed demolition could displace more than 3,000 homeowners across over 30 communities, a situation they describe as anti-people and detrimental to the welfare of affected residents. They are now appealing for swift intervention for well-being Nigerians before the situation escalates further.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has uncovered a clandestine laboratory used for producing Colorado, a potent synthetic strain of cannabis, inside a residential building at Ajawa Estate, Isolo, Lagos State. NDLEA spokesperson Femi Babafemi confirmed the development in a statement on Sunday. He said the lab owner, 30-year-old Stephen Kelechi Imo, was arrested after months of surveillance and intelligence gathering on the local production of the psychoactive drug. According to Babafemi, the breakthrough followed multiple interceptions of Colorado earlier this year, which indicated that the substance, previously imported, was now being manufactured locally. Items recovered from the lab include 16.2 kilograms of freshly cooked colos, 1.7 kilograms of ADP cannabinol, 4.5 kilograms of potassium carbonate, and 91 liters of dibromobutane, all used in the production of synthetic cannabis. In a separate operation, NDLEA operatives also arrested 28-year-old Afis Salisu, also known as Malu, during a raid in Mushin, Lagos. 16 compressed blocks of Ghana Loud, and several designer sachet and bottle of Colorado weighing 16.4 kilograms were recovered from his hideout.
5, 6, 7.
8 of 16, 1 of 12. Total is 140 pieces.
Now, the Kebbi State Police Command has arrested 2 suspected kidnappers and rescued a 14-year-old boy unhurt during a joint security operation in Kaoji, Bagudu local government area. Police spokesperson CSP Nafiu Abubakar said the suspects Aliu Alhaji Shehu, also known as Altini, and Abubakar Umar alias Bube were captured after a gun battle with security operatives in Sada Forest. The operation followed the October 18th abduction of Aliyu Buda, the son of Alhaji Buda Sambo, who was kidnapped from his home in Bagudu. Police confirmed that the boy was rescued safely and reunited with his family after medical checks. A locally made revolver and live ammunition were recovered from one of the suspects' homes. Preliminary investigations linked the suspects and their fleeing accomplices to several other kidnappings in the area, including the abduction of a 70-year-old man on October 28. Now, the Adamawa State government, in partnership with the United Nations Development Program, has distributed cash grants, vocational kits, and fish farming inputs to residents of Madagali local government area. The event, which took place at Gulak Stadium, is part of efforts to support communities affected by insurgency. Trust TV's Gibson Soadigo reports.
Governor Ahmed Murfinfri, while flagging off the exercise, said that empowering 2,500 households translates to lifting over 10,000 people out of poverty. He appreciated UNDP for its continued support in post-conflict recovery and called for the expansion of the program to other affected areas including Michika, Mubi North and South, Maiha, Gombe and Hong. The governor urged beneficiaries to make good use of the grants and materials to improve their livelihoods.
Wannan abin da muka zo mun kawo don ya amfane ku, ya taimaka ya cire ku daga talauci.
He said, "The items we brought are intended to alleviate your suffering and combat poverty. Please note that these items are not to be sold. Those who received assistance this year may not receive it again next year. So it is important that you make effective use of what you have been given."
Saboda haka wannan taimako da aka kawo an kawo maka ne ba don ba a so kuma ba inda za iya kai ba.
In her remarks, the permanent secretary and executive secretary of the ASEMA, Celine Lauri, explained that under this new phase, 1,500 households receive business grants of 300,000 naira each, while 500 others got vocational kits and 250 households receive fish farming inputs.
Through your clear vision and dynamic governance, Adamawa State continues to align with global best practices in humanitarian development interventions, ensuring positive and sustainable impacts on the lives of our people. With your kind permission, Your Excellency, I wish to highlight some of the key livelihood support initiatives successfully executed under the second phase of the Regional Stabilization Facility, RSF.
Mary Auta, who responded on behalf of all the beneficiaries, affirmed that the humanitarian gesture is a dream come true for them in the community. There were goodwill messages from the paramount ruler of Madagali and other guests. Gibson Soadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. The news continue after the break. Welcome back, and now to business news. The Dangote refinery has backed President Bola Tinubu's decision to approve a 15% import duty on petrol and diesel. In a statement at the weekend, Dangote Group spokesperson Anthony Chijena described the tariff as a patriotic and necessary step to protect local refining and encourage industrial growth. He said critics of the new policy were being unpatriotic, stressing that the tariff would help reduce import dependence, create jobs, and boost government revenue. Chejina added that the 650,000 barrel per day refinery is currently loading 45 million liters of petrol and 25 million liters of diesel daily for nationwide distribution. However, the Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority had earlier stated that the refinery produces about 20 million liters of petrol per day, raising questions about the figures. Still in business news, the World Bank is considering a fresh $1 billion loan request from Nigeria to support ongoing economic reforms and job creation efforts. According to a project document released on October 27th, the facility titled Nigeria Actions for Investment and Jobs Acceleration will combine a $500 million credit from the International Development Association and a $500 million loan from the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. The approval date is tentatively set for December 16th. The new package aims to strengthen economic reforms, spur private investment, and boost employment, focusing on two key pillars: unlocking private sector growth and lowering the cost of doing business. It will also support digital and agricultural expansion, promote trade under the AFCFTA, and enhance access to finance and for MSMEs and smallholder farmers. The World Bank says the program aligns with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda and is expected to drive inclusive growth, reduce inflation, and create millions of jobs across key sectors. Now, Africa's ambitious electrification initiative Mission 300 is gathering pace as the World Bank Group and the African Development Bank intensify efforts to connect millions of Africans to reliable and affordable power by 2030. The program, aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goal 7 on universal energy access, aims to provide electricity to 300 million people across the continent by the end of the decade. According to new data from the World Bank's Mission 300 Progress Portal obtained by The Punch on Friday, access to electricity is expanding rapidly under the initiative. The portal shows that as of 2024, more than 14 million people in sub-Saharan Africa had been connected through World Bank financed operations. That figure rose by 17 million in 2025, with another 1 million connections projected for 2026. In total, 32 million Africans have gained electricity access since the program's launch, marking a 10.7% implementation rate toward the 2030 goal. The portal further indicated that an additional 92 million people are expected to benefit from approved World Bank projects, while 65 million more will be reached through operation still in the pipeline. Now, away from Nigeria, the death toll from a landslide in Kenya's Rift Valley has climbed to 26. Authorities confirmed on Sunday, following heavy rains that battered the region on Saturday. Government spokesperson Isaac Mwara said 25 people remain missing, while 26 others have been rescued in Alegio, Marakwet County, where the disaster struck. Most of the rescued victims are currently receiving medical treatment. Mwara added that the government has deployed military aircraft and disaster response teams to support the ongoing search and rescue operations. Kenya has witnessed a surge in deadly landslides and floods in recent years, with scientists linking the increase in extreme weather events to climate change. In 2024, 61 people were killed in mudslide and flash floods in central Kenya, the deadliest such incident in recent memory. Across the border, Uganda has also been hit by similar disasters, with the Ugandan Red Cross reporting at least 13 deaths from landslides in the country's eastern region over the past week. And Tanzania's main opposition party, Chadema, has rejected President Samia Suluhu Hassan's landslide victory, calling the election's result completely fabricated. The party, which was barred from participating after refusing to sign an electoral code of conduct, said no genuine election took place in the country. Chadema's statement on Saturday came amid deadly protests that erupted nationwide after the vote, with demonstrators tearing down campaign banners and setting government buildings on fire. Witnesses say police fired tear gas and gunshots to disperse crowds. The opposition claims hundreds were killed, though the UN Human Rights Office reports at least 10 confirmed deaths in 3 cities. The government has dismissed the figures as exaggerated and denied human rights violations. Speaking after being declared winner, President Hassan condemned the unrest, saying security forces would ensure national stability. Authorities have since imposed a nationwide curfew and restricted internet access, disrupting international flights and port operations in Dar es Salaam. Still in foreign news, a supermarket explosion killed at least 23 people in northern Mexico on Saturday, according to local officials, with investigators saying the blast was an accident, possibly caused by a faulty electric transformer. Durazo said the survivors were being treated at hospitals in the city of Hermosillo, where the explosion took place. The explosion happened at a Waldo's stores in the city center. Newspaper El Universal said the explosion occurred around 2 p.m. 2000 GMT, and that nearby businesses opted to close their doors in order to prevent the fire from spreading there. Local authorities urged members of the public to avoid the area of the explosion and cancelled celebrations scheduled to be held that day in honor of the Day of the Dead holiday. And now to sports news. The chairman of the Kebbi State Football Association, Alhaji Abubakar Chikaladan, has dismissed allegations of fund misappropriation and poor execution of the FIFA mini stadium project in Birnin Kebbi. Speaking to journalists on Sunday, Chikaladan said the project was completed over 2 years ago and has since been in use, hosting several local and national football competitions. He added that Kebbi United FC used the facility as its home ground during the last football season. He explained that FIFA directly handled the project, appointing both the contractor and consultant through an international competitive bidding process won by Nigerian firms. Chairman of the Sports Writers Association of Nigeria, SWAN in Kebbi, Mansour Senshi, urged the association's national president to caution those spreading misinformation about the project. The mini stadium, funded under FIFA's Forward program, came under public scrutiny after its image appeared on FIFA's social media banner, prompting criticism of its design and value. Meanwhile, National Sports Commission Chairman Shehu Diko clarified that FIFA, not the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, managed the project directly. No one collected the money, he said, stressing that the NFF's only role was to provide the land. Still in sport, Egyptian club Telecom SC have confirmed the appointment of Aliyu Zubairu as the new head coach. Zubairu, who previously managed Nigeria's under-20 team, the Flying Eagles, led the side to a third-place finish at the 2025 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations and reached the round of 16 at the World Cup. The 61-year-old first rose to prominence after guiding El Kanemi Warriors to win the President Federation Cup in 2024. He will be assisted in his new role by fellow Nigerian coach Lukman Ijaya. And before we go, here is a kicker. In the industrial area, Douala, Cameroon's bustling economic capital, where concrete has swallowed much of the greenery, one man is bringing nature back into the city. A former welder, Joel Kamgen, once dreamt of working in Dubai, but after a life-changing accident, he's found new purpose in agriculture, all from the seat of a wheelchair he engineered by himself. Take a look.
Jewel Kamgin's story was once forged in steel. As a welder, he imagined a bright future abroad, but one tragic road accident left him permanently disabled, and those dreams shattered. For months, the trauma felt like the end of his story, but Kamgin refused to give up. Instead, he rebuilt his life, this time through the soil.
I was a farmer before ending up in this wheelchair. I had 2-hectare pineapple plantation at Hawaii, near Yaoundé. During one of my routine visits to the farm, I was involved in a fatal accident that left me like this. It broke me to the extent that I thought everything was over. But over time, I found the strength to start again.
With training from Greenhouse Academy Cameroon, an initiative of Greenhouse Venture Cameroon, Kamgin turned a small plot in Daola Yasser neighborhood into a thriving greenhouse farm. Yasser's huts, humid climate pushes temperature above 30 degrees, but inside the compact greenhouse, Kamgin carefully turns rows of vibrant bell peppers every day from his wheelchair.
Starting again meant learning greenhouse farming. It wasn't easy, but today I'm producing. The farm now covers 100 square meters and we harvest about 30 kilograms of bell peppers every week.
Starting over meant innovation. His greenhouse is clean, productive, and increasingly popular with local buyers. Experts say this kind of urban farming could be key to Cameroon's food future.
Cameroon has around 30 million people, and the number keeps growing. As the population increases, farmland continues to shrink. Greenhouses allow us to grow food within urban areas, using less land with higher and year-round yields.
Mobility remains a daily struggle as Kamgin navigates his farm with a manually operated wheelchair, hoping to one day get an electric one. But every harvest is proof of what determination can grow. From welding steel to cultivating life, Jewel Kamgin has turned personal loss into a story of resilience, showing that with grit and green hands, hope can bloom anywhere.
And with that, we have come to the end of the News Hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news. I am Maria Madrid. Thank you for watching.